Okay, welcome everyone back to Zoe Hooker TV. Yes! We did have a little break. We have been busy. Dad had a fight, or we're supposed to have a fight, but I've busted me paw. And we also had a new baby sister come into the world.
Yes!
So on today's episode, we're going to show you Zoe's new baby sister, Zaza, baby Zara.
Yeah!
And we got a few other things on the card today as well.
So as you guys can see from that video, Dan Hooker has broken his hand and he has pulled out of UFC 313 against Justin Gaethje. Now, this was a big matchup, potentially determining Islam Makhachev's next opponent. I know that probably wouldn't happen given that Ilia Topuria just moved up. You have Charles Oliveira, Arman Tsarukyan, people like that looking for title shots against Islam Makhachev. But this fight was going to be a very big determining factor in if either of these guys get a title shot in their career. Justin Gaethje would be another title shot, of course, but this was a huge fight for the lightweight division and also a huge fight for UFC 313 because it's not the strongest card we've seen recently. And this was a massive co-headliner that was padding this card a lot, and it's gone. So how is the UFC going to save UFC 313? Stick around to hear my thoughts. I'm Wyatt. This is Fight Society. Before we get into the video, guys, please make sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. All that good YouTube stuff really helps me out a lot. If you want access to bonus content like members-only live streams and you want to support the channel even further, become a channel member via the link in the description of this video or the join button on our channel homepage. Thank you very much. Back to the video. What's going on, guys? As you can hear, I'm still a little sick, but I'm still bringing you guys the videos. You know the vibes. Dan Hooker pulled out. It is what it is. UFC 313 is in rough shape now. Pereira versus Ankalaev is the main event. On that card, we also have Bobby King Green against Mauricio Hufi, Jalin Turner against Ignacio Bahamondes. Curtis Blades is on the card as well, but the card needed this co-headliner badly. And so this is a major hit for the card to take just about 8 days before the card, 9 days before the card, something like that. Now, the UFC is definitely going to have to find Justin Gaethje an opponent. This is 100% needed for the card. Justin Gaethje's a massive star in the lightweight division. He's been out since he got KO'd by Max Holloway at UFC 300. Justin Gaethje needs a fight. 313 needs a co-main event. Let's talk about the options. Number one, former featherweight champion Ilia Topuria, who just decided to vacate his featherweight title and move up to lightweight. Now, this is the one that everyone's been throwing out there as a possible replacement just because of the quality of the fight. And as much as I'd want to see it, it's not going to happen on this card. Ilia Topuria is not going to debut at lightweight. I know he fought Jai Herbert, but it was a quick pit stop, basically. Ilia Topuria is not going to break into the lightweight division officially on 8 days' notice against Justin Gaethje. It's just not going to happen. It's too hard of a fight. It's too big of a risk. He already gave up his belt. It's not like he has a belt to go back to at featherweight if he loses. He did vacate. So I definitely think that Ilia Topuria is not going to be on that card, as sick as it would be to see the boxing exchanges and potentially the wrestling exchanges between Justin Gaethje and Ilia Topuria as well. Now, aside from that, Dustin Poirier's name has been mentioned. I really doubt they do that fight again. I don't think Dustin Poirier takes a trilogy with a person that's knocked him out before on 8 days' notice with no training camp. Dustin Poirier is also working on his retirement fight in July or August in New Orleans. So I think Dustin's off the card as well. Dustin's not going to be filling in. Max Holloway has been mentioned as well. Certainly a possibility, given that a 155 cut is probably not the hardest thing in the world for Max Holloway being a former featherweight. But I still don't think he flies over from Hawaii to rematch Justin Gaethje, who he frankly dominated and KO'd at UFC 300. I don't see that fight happening either. I don't see Max Holloway in the same way as Ilia Topuria really like making his real push into the lightweight division on 8 days' notice in a tough fight like Justin Gaethje. There's a few other options, okay? Mateusz Gamrot threw his name out there. I think this is actually super possible. Gamrot is a top-ranked lightweight, and he says he's ready. I think that's like their very last choice, because they can make it. Gamrot says he's down, but he's also the least popular out of everybody on the list. So I think that that's probably their very last call, is if they can't get a bigger name to take this fight. You know, we also have Gene Silva was just talked about after beating Melsik Bagdasaryan. People are talking about how he stepped up against Drew Dober at lightweight on short notice, but I think we need to throw that conversation aside because he has no legit wins. Like he has no ranked wins. Drew Dober wasn't ranked when Gene Silva beat him. It just doesn't make sense. Like featherweight needs a new guy. You have Diego Lopez, you have Volk, you have Movsar, Aljo, but Gene Silva's like new and exciting, could be a big star in that division. And when you have the stars like Holloway and Topuria moving up to 55, we can't take another featherweight and put him at lightweight, because if he beats Justin Gaethje, he's going to have to stay at lightweight most likely. So I definitely think that Gene Silva's not the replacement for this card. Aside from that, we have former opponent of Justin Gaethje, Rafael Fiziev. They fought on the Leon and Usman 3 card in London. Amazing fight that Justin Gaethje won by decision. I could see them doing that given that Rafael Fiziev has been waiting for a comeback since his injury. It's just tough to, I mean, he must be in really good shape if he's ready to take this fight on a week's notice. He must be ready. But something to consider here as well is that whoever takes this fight, if they're a lightweight, they're probably going to have to do this fight at 170, 165 or 160 catch weight, something like that. So I definitely think that Rafael Fiziev is a possibility, but you also have, hear me out guys, this seems like the best option to me. Arman Tsarukyan pulled out of UFC 311 the day of weigh-ins, causing Moicano to move up and fight Islam Makhachev. Dana said after that Arman's next fight was not going to be for the title. The UFC does not like when fighters, injury or not, put them in that type of business position because it makes the UFC view them as unreliable. If Arman steps up, even if they do this at a catch weight or at 170, if Arman steps up to save this card, Gaethje versus Arman is a sick fight. It saves the card and it gets Arman Tsarukyan back in the good graces of the UFC. So that's what I think they should do. But something to keep in mind is that we do also have Jalin Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes on the card, and Bobby Green versus Mauricio Hufi. Now, it would suck to lose either of those fights. I can see either Bobby Green or Jalin Turner getting bumped up to the co-main event to fight Justin Gaethje. Jalin Turner's ranked. Bobby Green has been ranked for most of his career, and it would make some certain level of sense, especially when you consider the context of saving the card. But I would hate to lose those fights. Those are great prospect matchups. Jalin Turner versus Bahamondes, and then Hufi getting his big step up against a former ranked opponent, vet in the game, Bobby Green. But like I said, I think the absolute solution to this is Arman Tsarukyan. If he can make 170, if he can make 165, just consider it a lightweight fight. Consider it a number one contender at lightweight. Just throw that tag on there, okay? Or just say that whoever wins this, their next fight is for the title, even if the next title fight doesn't involve them. You know what I'm saying? Kind of in the way that Volk's next fight after getting KO'd by Ilia is for the belt, is a title fight, but it was not the next title fight. Max Holloway got his shot at Ilia before Volk did. Now, that's what I think could happen. Not really sure what you do with Dan Hooker here. He's got to heal up. I really doubt they rebook Hooker versus Gaethje anytime soon because they need Justin Gaethje on this card. This is a weak card, guys. Let's look at UFC 313. And this is a part of the problem that a lot of fans have with the UFC right now is the card quality. I mean, you have these two massive fights for the pay-per-view, and then it just drops off a cliff. I mean, this is a good fight, but it's really not a feature fight. This is a top 10 fight, but nobody cares about it. This is, I'm not going to hate on King Green versus Mauricio Hufi because that's like the perfect main card opener. But aside from that, you have Curtis Blades in a confusing matchup. Top 15 guys in the flyweight division. Are they both ranked 15? That's weird. But that's a good fight. Okay, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? You know what I'm saying? I mean, no disrespect to the fighters on the card, but who cares? We're talking about pay-per-view $79.99, okay? We need the UFC to stop booking these cards that are so top heavy, so reliant on a main event and a co-main event. Because when something like this happens and your co-main event or your main event falls through, you're fucked. Not everybody's Alex Pereira that's going to step up on a week notice or 3 weeks notice, whatever it is. Fight guys that are ranked 9th and 10th in the division. Not everybody's Alex Pereira. Not everybody's Islam Makhachev. Take on all comers. Islam won't take short notice fights, but he'll take on fights that are short notice for the opponent. So, I mean, it's still all comers. I'm the champion. They have to fix this, guys. And I think that they can at least save this card with Arman Tsarukyan. That's what I think they should do. Gaethje versus Tsarukyan, number one contender fight, something like that. It just depends on what they're going to do with Holloway, Oliveira, Ilia, God, wow. Lightweight has a lot of killers right now. But guys, I think it's going to be Tsarukyan. I think it should be Tsarukyan, but I won't be surprised if it's Rafael Fiziev or Gamrot, but it should be Arman Tsarukyan. And Arman Tsarukyan should be calling to his manager right now, like, yo, get me on this card. Get me back in the good graces of the UFC. So that's my thoughts, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. Obviously, super bummed about missing out on the Gaethje Hooker fight, but it means fire main event. We got some other good fights as well. Hopefully they can replace the co-main. Let me know your thoughts on UFC 313 down below. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Please make sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. All that good YouTube stuff really helps me out a lot. If you want access to bonus content, become a channel member through the link below this video or the join button on our channel homepage. If you're interested in some non-MMA content from me, go check out my podcast, What's Up Bro, with Wyatt and Bo, linked below this video. Go watch this suggested video, and I'll see you next time.